Thank you, Secretary, for being here, and thanks for taking on what is a huge task. You've done that before in your history, and I look forward to, most of the people I talk to are in favor of MAHA and making America healthy again. I agree with a lot of the things you've said. Some of the things I question, want to see more studies on. And there's probably a couple in there that I might disagree with, but that's okay. Opening this debate of how we can make America healthy again is very important. Let me ask a couple questions. I chair the Interior Committee that funds Indian Health Services, which is in your department. I noticed in your opening statement you want to maintain the level of funding for Indian Health Services to keep the promises that we've made to our Native American, Alaska Natives. That's not just a promise, that's a legal obligation we have with those. Those are treaty rights. So we've been doing a great deal in my bill, increasing funding for Indian Health Services. We also did something that we call forward appropriations so that they have appropriated a year in advance, because we found that during shutdowns and those kind of things, they weren't protected like other health organizations were and stuff. Your skinny budget, and I haven't seen your full budget yet. Do you maintain that forward appropriation for Indian Health Services?
Yeah, yes, Congressman. I want to point out, I spent 20% of my career working on tribal issues, on representing the tribes in treaty negotiations and in litigation against big polluters in the extractive industry and others. I was one of the founding editors of Indian Country Today, which is the largest Indian newspaper in Indian country. And it's been an issue that I've been committed to my whole life. I fought successfully to exempt the Indian Health Service from the probationary freezes, from the fork in the road, the early retirement, from the RIFs, and from all of the downsizing. And I also made an opportunity that people who at my agency who lost their jobs in other parts of the agency from the RIFs, et cetera, could transfer to Indian Health Service, because Indian Health Service is chronically understaffed. It's very, very difficult to find competent personnel who will move to Indian country or to distant locations. Right. I'm committed to protecting it. I'm committed to working with you to make sure that that we can finally make this work for a population that is not only probably among the most aggrieved in our history, but also a population that suffers more from chronic disease, that has the shortest lifespan, the highest rates of diabetes, the highest rates of alcoholism of any other population. And one of my big priorities will be getting good food, high quality food and traditional foods onto the reservation, because processed food for American Indians is poison.
Yep, they're finding that the way to attack diabetes on reservations was have the highest rate is by going back to their traditional foods.
Yeah, I'll say one thing. The Pima Indians were blue zone in Arizona, the longest lived people on the continent. Today, they're among the shortest lived. I think the lifespan is around 47 years old. The highest rate of diabetes, second in the world. Yep. About 80% of adults are diabetic, have chronic obesity. Right across the border in Mexico, there are Pima Indians who are still long-lived, have no diabetes, no heart disease, no obesity, because they're not being fed ultra-processed food. Ultra-processed food is a genocide on the American Indian, and we have to end it.
Yeah, I agree. One other subject that I want to talk about is the reorganization of NIH into fewer institutes. There are some institutes that are concerned that they're going to be left out of this reorganization. The Division of Oral Health at the CDC is concerned about the lack of focus on oral health. Will you commit that preserving the congressionally appropriated funding and upholding the autonomy of the National Institutes of Dental Craniofacial Research and other institutes until Congress completes a thorough review of the NIH restructuring?
I don't know what the OMB budget says about dental health, but I can tell you that I am deeply committed to dental health. There are so much new science out there that shows how dental health is intricately related to health in the rest of the body, to the microbiome, to the brain health. So, we want to do those kind of studies to make sure that we understand that, and we need to make a big commitment to dental health.
I appreciate that, and I look forward to working with you on that and making sure that, most diseases can actually express themselves in the oral cavity first.
Yes.
It can be detected there. I am concerned about the fluoride issue. I've seen the benefits, having been a practicing dentist for 22 years. I just noticed this morning that the FDA brings action to remove ingestible fluoride prescription drug products for children from the market. And as I'm reading through this, I want to see some of these studies, but it says the best way to prevent cavities in children is by avoiding excessive sugar intake and good dental hygiene, obvious. Then it says, for the same reason that fluoride may kill bacteria on teeth, it may also kill intestinal bacteria important to children's health. I would tell you, you don't prevent cavities by fluoride killing the bacteria in the mouth. What it does is make the enamel more resistant to decay. So I want to see the studies on this and where we're headed with this. And I will tell you that if you are successful in banning fluoride, I noticed you congratulated Utah and Florida, I think, for banning it. That's up to them. They can do what they want. But we better put a lot more money into dental education because we're going to need a whole lot more dentists.
I think that, Marty McCary's concern with ingestible fluoride is that the emerging science shows the benefits to of fluoride to cares and to cavity prevention comes from topical exposures rather than it was once thought that it was systemic, that if you ingested it, that the benefit came from that. We now know that virtually all the benefit is from topical, and we can get that through mouthwashes, we can get through fluoridated toothpastes. The National Toxicity Program issued a report in August, a meta-review of all the science that now exists on fluoride, and showed a direct inverse correlation between fluoride exposure, dose-related, and lower IQ. It's an issue that we have to all be concerned with. We want high IQ kids.
Mr. Hoyer.
Right now.
Mr. Hoyer.
I appreciate that, and I look forward to working with you on it.
Okay.